brought to you by Source Forensics. Are you looking for a video conversion service? Well, look no further because I got one for you. If you are looking for fast, efficient, and honest, Source Forensics is your go-to. Since 2003, they have been converting weddings, baptisms, sports, and other videos. They have become a reputable and well-known video conversion service. Their team is up for every job, managing projects with the skill and experience their clients have come to expect. They want their customers to be satisfied with their work, which is why they provide open communication channels throughout the duration of each project. Trust Source with all your precious memories stored on various legacy formats, VHS tapes, DVDs, CDs, mini DVDs, cassettes, old vinyl, and 35mm slides. Whatever the job is, they got you covered. Contact them at 401-203-5019. Again, that's 401-203-5019. Or visit their website at www.sourceforensics.com. Again, that's www.sourceforensics.com. Now for our episode. All right, ready? All right, welcome to the Rhody Runback, the recap show, and I'm joined and collab with the ball in our ride, Ramon del Los Santos himself. Ramon, what's happening?
Thank you for having me, and it's Ramon.
Ramon, I know. Yes, I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. Thank you for having me. I know we've been trying to do this for a while. I'm glad we're able to make it happen at last, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, Ramon, I can't thank you enough, and I apologize about the name. So I'm a little out of it, as you know, I have some health issues going on, but I appreciate you very much for being on the show, and I'm glad we're able to do this. So, Ramon, let's get into it. Last night we had some great games, and we had some really close ones, and we had a 1,000-point scorer, and actually some shakeup in your power rankings that we'll get to a little bit later. But let's first start off with Juanita Sanchez High School versus Hope High. First let's start with Mr. 1000 himself, Bernard Omana, oh my God, of Juanita Sanchez was able to pull out the victory 65-52. Bernard scored 1,000 points, coming off of stealing a layup. What are your thoughts on Bernard's 1,000 and this game itself?
Now, very glad. I'm very proud of the kid, happy for the kid. He's been working hard. I first heard of Bernard, I think it's his freshman year. I didn't really know about him. I saw him play, and I was like, oh, this kid is going to be good. And he's just gotten better year over year. So just happy for him in that milestone. Juanita Sanchez started really good this year.
Yeah, they look pretty good. I mean, I'll be honest, like I never heard of Juanita Sanchez. I left high school and then started paying more attention to basketball, and they look like they're a team coming out on top.
Yes, definitely. And if they're gonna do good this year, it's gonna be on the shoulders of Bernard and some of the other good role players they have.
Yeah, they have a good team. Let's see what they have coming up in the recent schedule and see how well they do. Now I want to jump to obviously I think it was the game of the night, and it turned out to be the game of the night was the the matchup I know I've been looking forward to from speaking to the guys, Stanley Yuri himself, and what Classical versus Bishop Hendricken, an absolute just a nail biter itself. What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, so I watched that game from beginning to end. It was a back and forth game. There was never a team that was up by a lot. Hendricken would make a little run, then Classical would fight back. So that was the most impressive thing to me. Like Hendricken is used to being in the spot year over year, right? That they have the great coaching staff, they have the great players, that good talent comes in year over year. So they're used to being in the spot. For Classical, I wanted to see if they were able to handle this, and they were able to. They got punched in the mouth a couple of times. They were able to bounce back and get the lead back or get close again, and everybody make good plays. So it was a big team win, and obviously my guy Ned ended up. The kid is heartless, man. Like he had the pump fake. He could have taken a couple steps forward, taking a 2-point shot. No, sidestep with a 3. I was like, wow, this kid is heartless and just on net.
Oh,
so it was a great game.
Yeah, that game was just like you said, back and forth, and obviously Ned with the ice water in his veins to pull that shot. The little pump fake, step side of 3, and just pull that 3-pointer to seal the deal for the win with 10 seconds left. It was crazy, and I know Classical last year had some tough battles against Hendricken where they lost a couple close ones.
Yeah, and Classical, I mean, this is a year where they have an opportunity to do a lot, right? So this was a good game for them to show that they're able to do that, and they have one of the best starting fives in the state. Like if you look at their starting five, that they're that good. And it's just a matter if they could put it together and pull off wins like this. Because at the end of the day, I feel like Hendricken will be there at the end. Some of the other top schools will be there. Classical needs to show that they're here to stay, and I think they showed that last night.
Yeah, it was a big win for them and a good showing for them. I know a lot of those guys have been looking forward to that game, and I'm glad that they were able to get it.
And on the Hendricken side as well, I mean, it was good to see some of the younger guys kind of show up in a big game. So like Ezzy Wally, like he's had a good game, then had a game where he struggled a little bit, and then last night he showed that he could be the future of that Hendricken team. Like I think they're bringing him in up slowly, but the kid can get to the basket whenever he wants, and if he starts finishing and his 3-point shot is going in, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, the Hendricken team too, that starting line, I feel like they're just like interchangeable. Like it's like if someone can have like a really good night, another guy can have, like David Lynch could have a good night, Ezzy Wall could have a good night. Like I feel like they switch nights. I feel like it's just not just one primary guy. I feel like all 5 of those guys could get it going.
Agree.
Yeah. All right, and then let's go to the other close game. It's PCD Providence County Day versus SHEA, 63-61. SHEA was able to get this win in a close matchup of Providence County Day with Enrique Sosa leading the league with 22 points for SHEA, and PCD led by Brandon McRoy and Ryan Joseph with 19. What does this mean for SHEA going forward? I mean, last year they had, Erickson, man, I'm drawing a blank on his last name. I want to say Bainson, but I don't know why Bain. What was it like? What's it like for them to get a win, get it going for them, get themselves going a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they had Erickson Bands last year, the all-time leading scorer in boys Rhode Island high school history, right? So yeah, he left a legacy, but then he also left SHEA in Division I, which has been tough for them for the first couple of games. But I know Coach there, Steve DeMayo, great guy. I knew they were going to grind out a win sooner or later, and it just happened to happen against PCD. They finally put it together as a close game. So that means a lot for SHEA. It could lead them to, feel the confidence so that, whether they find themselves in a close game again, they could finish it, right? So I think that'll help them a lot. For PCD, it's like tough welcome to the RIL for PCD. I know they had high expectations. And I don't know if there's a curse out there or something, because PCD, they had high expectations. They've been losing some games that, a lot of people thought they would win. They're waiting for Ryan Joseph to come back because he had to sit out a couple games. Big body who rebounds a lot. He came back, 19 points. Brendan does what he does, 19 points, and they still lost by 2. So it'll be interesting to see, because their schedule's not going to get any easier. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at PCD.
Yeah, I think I was wondering because, Ryan was out for a couple games. It'd be interesting for them to see if they can, bounce back a little bit more. It seems like they look a lot better than the previous 2 games that they played, and it seems like they're starting to get their pieces together. And Ryan Joseph, like you mentioned, big body, 6'3" kid who can could mid-range game, good player. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I mean, PCD has a talent. It's just, and I don't know what it is that's not putting it together. For them, they're coming into the RIL. Usually teams get put into a lower division, but them, having so much of the talent, I guess it was overruled and they were put in Division I. Division I is tough. But I mean, we're only playing so many games this year, so I think they're getting good games and they're getting to play. That's what really matters.
Yeah, definitely. And now let's go to the other. This night was full of close games. Barrington versus East Providence. Barrington gets the W, 62-59. And these were 2 really good freshman players on this floor for both teams. I mean, what is the future like for these guys? How many of these guys are going to match up with this as well?
Yeah. So when I put out the rankings for the freshmen, those are the first overall, Alex Berry out of St. George. That was kind of a given. Like the kid is really, really good. I think he has some Division I. Could be a Division I prospect. So that was kind of, all right, Alex is going to go number 1. Then number 2 was like, all right, who could it be? Because there was a lot of people in play, right? So I think it came down mostly to Matt, Rafa, and Trey. I knew Matt was going to play at Barrington because they lost a lot of seniors. I didn't know what Trey's situation was going to be at East Providence. So it was very close. I put Matt number 2, Trey number 3, and then sure enough, there was a great battle last night. Both kids play amazing. Trey's having an amazing year to start. Like the kid Trey Resendez out of East Providence, he's playing well beyond his years. Like, he's so comfortable, makes buckets, gets to wherever he wants to get. And then Matt, same thing. He's becoming a leader on that Barrington team, where he's the go-to guy. You can see when late in the possession or they need a bucket, he has the ball in his hand. So it was amazing to see. I'm excited for the future of Rhode Island basketball if these two kids stay in the RIL, because those are two kids that you can kind of just watch for 4 years and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it would be some fun battles if these two stay with their teams and everything like that, because I think it's going to create a rivalry between the two of them. So both being like freshmen, playing a close game like this one. What are your thoughts on Barrington, especially because now they're like 3-0. They're starting off pretty hot.
Yeah, so Barrington. So when I put out these rankings, so when I put out team power rankings, player rankings, my comments fell up with, Bowling R is sleeping on me, sleeping on us, sleeping on. They always think I'm sleeping, I guess.
Yeah, you're always napping in their eyes.
But I must admit, one team I kind of really slept on was Barrington. They lost like 9 seniors from last year, and they lost a very good class, probably one of the best classes in their school's history. They won a lot of games. So I imagined there would be some type of a rebuild this year. And I knew Matt was coming back, coming into Barrington, and they have some decent plays, but I didn't know they were going to put it together the way they have so far. I think they're 3-1 now. They lost to Mount Pleasant the other day. But that's, Mount Pleasant is a very good, tough, perennial powerhouse in D1. So I've been surprised, and I'm excited to see if they could keep it going, because they seem to be playing very, very well.
Yeah. It seems like you said, they lost a lot of those seniors, and then you got a freshman that's stepping up for them, and then you got a couple other guys stepping up for them. They're playing really, really, really well.
No, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And then we go to the D3. There was a couple of nail biters in that one. Prout versus Moses Brown. Prout pulls out a 55-54 win against Moses Brown. Max Fiori on senior night leads him with 18 points. And, Coach Felicetti was wearing a suit on the sidelines. I wanted to get him mic'd up. I got to get him mic'd up for next year's games and stuff. I want to hear what I had to say. First time I thought I'd ever see him in a suit. But what were your thoughts on this game, in this D3 battle?
Well, like you said, Coach Felicetti definitely stole the show. The announcers just talking about his suit the whole game. It was awesome. But it was a great win for Prout. Prout now being in Division III, again, they lost a lot of talent as well, but they have kids who are ready to play. And, it was a great game between them and Moses Brown. And I'm glad, they were able to pull it out. Big win for them. And, I think they're 2-1 now. So, being in the positive is just going to give that team a lot more confidence. They have some good players. So Maxwell played well, and they have John Estes, who's been playing amazing. So, once again, there's another player that I kept saying I was sleeping on. And I guess I was, because John Estes been balling this year. So keep it going, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think I'm going to pick on Coach Felicetti a little bit later, because I think he was wearing Converses too with his he had some bowling shoes, or looked like bowling shoes. But we'll move on to the other big Division III matchup, which was an upset. Mount St. Charles versus North Smithfield. An overtime game where Mount St. Charles was able to win this one. North Smithfield was able to win this one 50-45. What are your thoughts? Two freshmen step up big time from North Smithfield in this game.
Yeah. So I know both of those coaches very well. So I coached with Rhode Island Magic for a while, and both Brandon, Coach DiPaola, and Coach Coleman both coached with the Magic as well for many years. So we have a little group chat. We're like, you guys are going against each other, but like you said, it was like an upset. So although, we know Coach DiPaola is always going to have North Smithfield playing hard, you would expect Mount St. Charles to grind out that win, because they have some good talent, some good seniors. And as soon as I heard I went into overtime, I'm like, oh, man, here we go. So I tuned in, and, yeah, definitely a great game. Big win for North Smithfield. Definitely a wake-up call for Mount St. Charles. They have to come in every night ready to play, no matter who it is. And, the field's wide open. Anybody can, especially in Division III. There's just so much room to grow for any team. You just got to get out there and get those wins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, I'm on another group chat with them as well too. So as well. That's a good group of guys. Those coaches over there. So now we go to Smithfield versus Mount Pleasant, and you had touched upon Mount Pleasant before being a really tough team, and they win this game pretty easily, 57-38. What are your thoughts on Mount Pleasant?
Yeah, so Mount Pleasant, first of all, I understand it's tough, but find a way to stream your games. That was the only game that was not streamed last night. So find a way to stream your games. Get one of the coaches to put their phone up or whatever it is. Figure it out, because every school is streaming their games. So that's the first thing. But Mount Pleasant from I've been living in Rhode Island for like 20 years now. So from what I know, Mount Pleasant's always been good. And every year, like, oh, they lost these many people. How are they going to be good again? Somehow, some way, they put a athletic, deep, talented, and well-coached team put together, and that's enough to get it done. So this year's no different. They have Hanse Hayes, who's just an amazing ball player, can get to anywhere he wants on the basket. I think he's not as aggressive as he should be, as he can be. If he was more aggressive and a little more selfish, which he shouldn't be, listen to your coach, but if he was a little more aggressive, he could easily average over 20 in Rhode Island, but they have a couple other scorers, some big bodies, and they, like I said, they're all athletic, and they press all game, and they get to the basket. So it's tough to go to their place and win any game for any team in the state. So I knew that Smithfield been on a little run. So when I saw they were 3-0, I was like, oh man, so Smithfield is either done with their games or wins on Friday. They're probably gonna have to get ready, because if they go 4-0, so I looked at the schedule, I saw they play Mount Pleasant. I was like, oh man, that's gonna be tough. And sure enough, that's a tough game to win. So, but kudos to Smithfield. Smithfield's had a hot start. Completely surprisingly. I give it up to them. They have a lot of kids who are just playing ball. They just, at the end of the day, they're just playing ball. So, hot start for them. They lost yesterday, but keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, they had some good wins. I saw that comeback win the first game of the season against Cumberland, and they kind of just kept it rolling from after that. And like you said, Mount Pleasant's just a tough opponent. They got 3 scorers that are just tough. Like Hanzo, hey, like you said, he's tough. He's a tough player. I saw that move. They put that poor kid in the spin, so like put him on the ground the other day.
he's so good, and like he's just so shifty. Like the way he plays is a little different. So like he's so shifty, he looks unpredictable, and sure enough, like he gets to the basket at will. So when you can do that, and then he can shoot as well. He's kind of streaky, but he can shoot. So you kind of got to respect the 3, and then he can just get to the basket. That's tough.
Who would you compare him to in the NBA? Say like for a good description.
Who would it be? I was thinking about that the other day. There's somebody who's I'm always like, man, his game is so weird. Markel Fultz. That's what I think about. So from the Magic, yeah. So like he's just like, you would think, all right, this is what if you cross from right to left, that means you're gonna take 2 steps. No, like Hanse's gonna cross from right to left, do a little hesitation, and then go to the basket. So it throws the player off. But I think he controls and he knows what he's doing. So that's what I think about when I think of him, Markel Fultz.
That's awesome. That's great. That's a good comparison for sure. And now let's go to Burrillville versus Cranston in that game. Burrillville, they beat a very good Cranston West team that's very well known for their defense. Who tested a North Kingston team earlier this season as well, and Cranston West has been playing well. They've had some tough games, but they've also been playing well too. They're tough defensively. What do you think about Burrillville in this victory?
So big win for Burrillville again. It's early in the season, but obviously this is a short season, so wins means so much. And the fact that, what was the score? I think Cranston West only scored like 30 something. I think
33 points. It was 40
so
33.
That's a big defensive performance at Burrillville. I mean, they're very well coached. Coach, Randall's very, very good there. And they're very, very well coached. They have some good plays, and it's tough to win at Burrillville with fans or no fans. Like, it's tough. And Cranston West is a really good team. A little young, but I think they're experienced. So even though they're young, they have varsity experience. So I expect them to to win games like that. So that's a big win for Burrillville, because Cranston West, I ranked them top 5 in the preseason in Division 2. They're expected to be that good for the rest of the year, and they will be. They have all the pieces they would need. But that makes it even that much of a better win for Burrillville.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think, like you had mentioned, both teams are pretty coached very well. And I know Cranston West coaches pretty well. I know they harp on the defense big time. So that's great for Burrillville to be able to hold Cranston West down to 33 points. And like you said, Cranston West could be a team down the line. And there's a couple of weeks on the season, but that could be a tough team to beat. It's kind of weird to say. It was weird to say senior night after 3 games. For Prout, it's tough. But at least the kids have something. But let's jump to Tollgate versus Timberton. Tollgate wins this one 51-38. Tollgate is hot. They're like 3-0. They've beaten some good teams. Francisco Lopez is also playing unbelievable right now in his mind. Carrying Tollgate. What's it like? What do you think about Tollgate and Timberton in this matchup?
So yeah, like you said, Tollgate started pretty hot. They're winning all their games. Francisco's having an amazing year to start the year. I know Francisco since his freshman year, and the kid can play. I think again, another kid who maybe doesn't play the traditional way. He finds a way to get to the basket, and he's going to score on you, and he makes all the right plays. So big win for Tollgate. You come out of a 3-0 start like that, you just got to keep it going, right? So don't get a little too confident, don't get a little too cocky, just keep it going.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder how they'll do against Pilgrim. Pilgrim is Tuesday for them rivalry game on that one, so that's a big one.
That'll be tough.
Yeah, so we'll go into the Pilgrim game as they beat Cherho 66-47. Another win for them on senior night with their 7 seniors that they have. They're led by Peter Kay and Tyreek Weeks. Peter Kay with 16, Tyreek Weeks with 13, and Jared Bosclair for Cherho's been playing well. He's had 22 points. What's your thoughts on Pilgrim this season as well as Cherho?
Yeah, so Pilgrim obviously came in as one of the I guess as soon as Tyreek Weeks transferred there, they became kind of one of the favorites in Division II. Last year it didn't turn out to be like as they wanted. But now all those guys have 1 extra year of experience. They have a lot of the guys back. So I expect big things from Pilgrim. They're very well coached. They have kind of probably arguably the best player in the state in Tyreek Weeks. Obviously teams focus on him defensively. So, he doesn't always get the numbers, but he's going to get, at least 12 and 10 every game. And then Peter Kay is kind of just a great ball handler. That's kind of the player, that a team like that needs where, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Ty, not let him get the ball. You need somebody else to get everybody else involved. And they have a lot of shooters. And then they have the kid, Whedon, who's a new kid. He's awesome. Amazing. He's good. So at the first game, I was like, oh, wow, he's like taking over the game. I tuned in to watch Tyreek, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, what about this kid? And like, he's going to get, I got a feeling he's going to catch a big dunk before the year is over. Like, the kid is always on the break. So good for them. Cherho battles, though. Cherho, no matter what team they put out, they always going to battle. So I don't expect anything different for this team. And as they continue the season, they're going to get wins here and there. But they're always going to battle. So that's a good thing with Cherho.
Yeah. Cherho, I feel like they're tough to put up a good fight against Portsmouth in their first game as well. And then Pilgrim, like you said, that Whedon kid, I watched him play too against East Greenwich. I was like, ooh, this kid's athletic. He's long. He looks like he's good. He's a good player, and it looks like he'll mesh well. It just seems like I feel like Pilgrim maybe starting to hit their stride. It's going to be interesting, like I said, against that Tollgate team on Tuesday. That's a must watch. That's must see TV.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's going to have a lot of impacts on the rankings. This is going to be a great game. Where's that game at? Is it at Tollgate or at Pilgrim?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I actually just had spoken to Pharrell Soares of Tollgate, and he had mentioned that they're playing each other, but I don't know if it's going to be because they played last night. Pilgrim played at Warwick. Vets.
Yeah, so they're always gonna. I think they're gonna play all their games. Oh yeah, so I think both teams are playing their games at Warwick Vets. So they'll be streaming. That's what I'm concerned about. They're going to be streaming. They will be streaming.
Yeah. That's the most important thing. You can't miss that one. And then let's jump to Narragansett versus Cranston East. Narragansett takes 66-58. Narragansett beats Cranston East by 8. I mean, they're led by the Calabro brothers, Matt and Tom, with Ethan thrown in. Some points as well too, and Jamari Bell did his best to keep Cranston East in the victory by scoring 27. What are your thoughts on these two teams and like upcoming the rest of the way?
Yeah. So Narragansett had been a perennial powerhouse in Division II forever, moved up to D1, and they haven't disappointed. They've lost some close games, but you could see that they battle. Even in the games, they play some tough teams. So I think they've already played NK, they played Hendricken, so they play some of the tougher teams. And even though they lost, some of those games by a lot, you could tell they can hang, right? So then they knew, sooner or later they're going to start winning. And, against a team like Cranston East, they were able to put it together. Matt Calab was a beast. Like, he gets to the basket, can do what he wants on the court, and then they have a bunch of other players. So Ethan Betts, when he gets hot, He can shoot it from anywhere, make 4 or 5 threes. And then they have a bunch of other guards, Tom, Kid Shalhoub, like that. They're wired different. Like these kids, I've seen them play since they were younger. Like they used to play AU together, and they just hard-nosed kids. So they're never going to back down from anyone, and it shows. So they're always going to be good. Cranston East, their best player, Alvin Baez, is hurt, or he's out for a couple games. I don't know what the deal is, but he's out for a couple games. I think he's coming back soon. Once he gets back, that's going to be a completely different team. Because, they've been losing some games. They've been losing by a lot. They've been losing close games. Jamari Bell's trying his best to kind of keep it together. But once Alvin comes back, Alvin is a 20-point scorer every night, and he's one of the better players in Rhode Island. So they have a lot of other talent as well. So they're going to be fine. Well, I mean, it's a short season, but they're gonna, once he gets back, they're gonna be a different team.
Yeah, I feel like they have Cranston used to have some really good talent, and you touched upon that as too. I mean, they have Miguel Espinal as well too, and a couple other guys. And Miguel had just come off an injury recently, so it's going to be interesting to see once they get all like fully healthy and fully together, see what they can do to turn around this within the next 2 weeks. I think this is kind of over with, right? It ends February 22nd. Am I not wrong? Like for everything, so it'll be interesting to see how it works out for them.
No, definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy how short the season. It's like I feel like the games are like back to you're not used to the 3-game set.
Yeah, and then some teams are playing like crazy, like 9 games in 7 days, and it's like, I mean, 7 games in 9 days, like it's crazy. It's like almost like NBA schedule.
Yeah,
we're doing what we can, so that's important. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. I think actually, I not to like throw, but the Cranston West, I think they had played Thursday too, and then they had to play Burrillville in a back-to-back. So that's you got to be a little tired. Yeah. Let's jump to Scituate versus Paul Coffey School. Scituate wins this one 54-31. Scituate is gets their wins this one. They're led by their Keeney Yenna, who had the game winner, who was carrying his momentum with 16 points. And while Ben DeAndros continues his scoring in double digits, he has 14. And then to defeat Paul Coffey, who was led by Isaiah Baker. What's Scituate? I feel like they're flying under the radar.
Yeah, so Scituate is another team that just come out the gates running. So they're winning games, they're making it known. So sometimes they win a game, they're in my inbox like, hey, that's another win. Like that's another look out for us. And they've been winning some good games. So you got to look out for Scituate in Division 3. They have, you have a couple good scorers. Sometimes that's all you need in Division 3. You have 2 guys could put the basket, the ball in the basket. That's enough sometimes. And Keenan and Ben can definitely do that. And, Ben catching dunks on top of people. I'm like, oh, what's going on in Division 3? But Scituate's looking really good. And then Paul Coffey, I mean, it's a tough year for them. They have, but they have some players that can play. So, they're going to have a couple nights where they, where they can get some wins and they can kind of step it up. But, they're going to have a tough year this year.
Yeah. We'll see what happens for them and see what Scituate keeps going, keeps it going. They have, like you said, they have some good scores here, and they're tough in Division 3. So I'm sure they're going to keep DMing you until they're up in those power rankings.
Oh yeah, they're always in the inbox, man.
Hey, everyone thinks you're napping. They don't think that you're. You're the hardest working man with all the sports stuff. I see you post stuff all the time. So, but let's go to North Kingstown versus Wesley, the final game of the night. North Kingstown wins this win 70-46, and kind of Owen Moynihan and Ethan Smith continue the hot streak of scoring and leading North Kingston. Wesley's kind of left in a tough position because, like you had mentioned, with Erickson Baines with SHEA, Jawari kind of leaves Wesley in Division 1 in a tough spot. I think it's tough, but they're led by Barrington and they got some good players on the team. But what do you think about North Kingston being able to bounce back against a loss from Bishop Hendricken, and your thoughts on Wesley as well too?
Yeah. I mean, North Kingston is always going to be good. There's certain schools that you just somehow, somewhere, they're going to be good every year. And if you talk about a school losing a lot, like North Kingston lost their all-time leading scorer. They lost their winningest class ever because that class with Clay and what was the other kid's name? I can't believe I forgot his name. But that whole class, they've been winning since freshman year. They won the JV title freshman year. Then they won sophomore year. Then they won. They've just been winning every year. And then all of a sudden, you're like, so what's next? And I knew Owen was going to be really good, but I didn't know what else they had. And Ethan Smith stepping up. They have my guy Cam, who's a Cam out of town that was catching dunks, and so they're going to be good. So they lost against Hendrick, and it was a close game. You could tell they can ball, and anybody who can't keep up with them, they're going to make it known. They're very, very well coached, so they're going to be fine. Wesley, like you said, tough position. Not only they lose, they lost like 3 great seniors, but then Jawari leaves, right? In transfers. So now all of a sudden you're moving up to D1, but you don't have the same players or the players you're expected. So I think, like you said, Byron Dunn and the rest of those guys, they're doing what they can. They're gonna be, I think, middle of the pack in Division 1. It's not like they're gonna be at the bottom. I think they're good enough to be middle of the pack, but they're not gonna be top like they used to be in D2.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel I live in Wesley, so
but no, definitely Wesley. I mean, for so many years, was just so good in Division 2, and then it's tough to move up. But it's almost, it sucks because it's like the pass is what dictates kind of when you get put up. But then if you don't maintain that talent, then it's tough when you actually move up. Because that team last year could have competed in Division 1. So.
Yeah, they were good. They were good last year. And I always make the joke about North Kingston. There's always something. I feel like there's something in the water down there because those guys always play well. So no matter what, I don't know what it is. It's like football too. It's same. It's like what's in the water? Because I need to drink some, I guess. But that's all the slate of games that we have now.
Before we get to those power rankings, we have 3 interviews for you guys for some insights on the games this week. We are first joined by Pharrell Soares of Tollgate, followed by Dean Felicetti, the head coach of Prout basketball, and then followed by the head coach of North Smithfield, Coach Brandon DiPaola, and then we will get right into those power rankings that everyone wants to know. Here are your interviews.
All right, here we go. All right, I welcome on Pharrell Soares of Tollgate Boys High School basketball team. Tollgate has been rolling lately in the recent victory. They just beat Timberton 51-38. I welcome on Pharrell. Pharrell, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again.
Of course. Pharrell, I got to ask, you guys are rolling. What's it like to win 3 games in a row?
Right now, 3-0 just sounds great, but we're just going to, not let it get to our heads. Just keep going on to the next game. So right now, the goal, it would be nice to go undefeated, but, we just want the win, and that's really it at the end of the day.
Yeah. And what's it like, you played Timberton. What was that game like, and what do you think was the biggest thing that helped you guys win that game?
Man, Timberton's a scrappy team, very physical. They have a great shooter. I don't know his name, but he number 11. He's I kid God, he shoots lights out. But I think the biggest thing for us was our defense. We've been coming in playing 3 games. It's just been our defense. Our offense scoring good too, but the key thing for us is just our defense is just so it's just so it works a lot.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, you guys played really well. I caught some of the game last night before my app crashed on me. But it's awesome. It's great to see you guys playing well. It looks like you guys just have a good mix of that junior, seniors, as well as the one sophomore you guys had mentioned before. Now you have one guy who's playing really well on your team, Francisco Lopez, who's scoring a lot. What's it like playing with a young man like that? That's just been a good leader for you guys.
I remember back in middle school playing against Fran, when he was at Vets and I was at Woodman. But ever since I've been at Tollgate, I played JV. No, I played my freshman year, and I used to go to the varsity games and just watch him play. But then ever since last year, being on the team with him, just seeing how he is with the ball in his hands, he got a lot of potential, a lot of potential.
That's awesome. And now what's the next game for you guys?
Oh, Pilgrim Tuesday.
Oh, that's the big one. That's much watched TV right there because we know how big that game is.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are both teams are both you guys are gonna get it going, so it'd be good. It's gonna be a good matchup. But Pharrell, thank you for being on the show. Do you have anything to say before we sign off?
Again, everybody just wear your mask. I'm hearing a lot about the season. Nothing good. But everybody just do your part and just make sure we're able to finish this out, because by next week we're already halfway through. So just do your part, wear your mask on the court, whatever. Let's just finish this out the right way.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Pharrell. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
All right, and welcome on the show, head coach of Prout boys basketball, Coach Dean Felicetti, after their victory in a close nail biter against Moses Brown on a score of 55-54. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Coach, where's the suit? First of all, where's
I probably got 6 texts about that suit. And it's funny because it's our senior night, and I think that's sort of the trend, right? Our schools are trying to get their senior night done a little bit earlier just in case, they have to quarantine or whatever, gives, the kids an opportunity and the parents opportunity. So I usually wear Nantucket Reds on senior night. So I mixed it up and I went with a suit with pink and purple, which in a large mammal like me, a little bit like Barney, but it worked. It worked. But anyway, I got more texts about that stupid suit. I'm wearing it again. I'm bringing it back out.
Yeah, you need. I missed it. I couldn't really tell the color from where the camera was, but
it was beautiful.
It was nice. Were you wearing Converses too with them?
I was wearing Cyber Monday Jordans with it.
I sort of like the way it's like, are those Converses?
Which I was quickly told by one of my players that I looked sus, whatever that means. I don't know how kids talk now that yet. So with those sneakers on.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, last night's win, awesome, great on the senior night. They get the victory. What was that game like? Being in such a close game and actually beat Moses Brown, who's pretty up there in Division III.
Yeah, I think we did our best to give it away. We were up 18 at one point in the third quarter, and credit to Moses Brown. They play very aggressive man. They play a zone press back to man, which is, and the coaches that are listening, that's impressive because the matchups can kind of get screwed when you're hustling back from your zone press back to man. And they do a really good job with it. And it caused us an issue. They stuck to the game plan. And then, our guys also, they're not typically in a situation where it's close a game. It's either, one or the other. We're either down a lot or up a lot. So I think for them, it was a good exercise in learning how to win. Although we did try to give it away at the very end, but it was a good victory for us, putting us at 2-1 in the division. With the loss to EWG and the win at Pano. So win at home versus Pano. So we're hanging in there.
That's awesome. And what was it like? What does it mean? I'm sure Maxwell Fiori, he had a big game for
Yes.
as on senior night, which is weird to say after game 3. But what's it like? What was it like for him, and how did that feel for him to get that?
Maxwell is a monster. I don't know if you've seen him, but he is a absolute monster, and he's probably the sweetest kid on the team. And it's an interesting dynamic. But these seniors, and this has been obviously not only a challenging year, but a strange year considering the fact that we have senior night, in our third game, we have, I don't know what the impact would have been emotionally if we lost that game, but the win, coupled with the fact that it was senior night and coupled with the fact that it was Maxwell's very big night, he was a monster, I think really led cause for celebration this weekend. So it was really good for the kids. It was really good for the kids' parents to be there. It was especially good for Maxwell. It was great.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, Maxwell's a very nice kid. I remember when he was on the show, he was just super soft-spoken and just seemed like a very, very, very good kid overall. Now, what's it like for you guys to be back on the court, just period, and how well does that feel after 3 games?
It's funny. I was talking to Coach Beauregard last night. We were talking about it. It's 3 games is a lot in 1 week. For probably more so for the coaches, between scout and film and trying to squeeze into practices. But to the kids, it's almost a routine they can fall into and you'd be ready to go. But there's nothing better. But as soon as the ball is tipped, the butterflies are still there, you're inside. We're almost at a point now where the masks are second nature. I think we struggled at practice with them, and then even the first game, we weren't great with them. Now the kids know they're above the nose, and they, now it's just part of the game, which it's amazing. Within a week, 2 weeks, being in the gym is synonymous with wearing masks, and they get it now. And it's a struggle at first, but it's part of the game. So it's been great. It's been great to be in the gym.
That's awesome. It's great to see the games on, and it's awesome with the live stream. I feel like it's been like March Madness. It's trying to flip around between each game, which one I want to watch. My NFH app doesn't crash for me all the time, and maybe we watch everything. But you
gotta get off that dial-up. Why don't you get a network connection, man? You got all that Rhody Runback money coming in with your mic and everything. Come on, baby, let's go step it up.
I know.
Gigabit line to that house.
Gotta get
Coach Cobb.
Internet speed up a little bit more. I don't know.
Talk to Coach Cobb. He'll fund you some.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
A big Wheeler budget.
He may pull the sponsorship on me. Now your next game is against North Smithfield, and you have a back-to-back against them. What's that?
Actually, our next game is against Highlander.
Oh, is it?
That was added. Yep, because they were in quarantine, so it'll actually be their first game. So they have they have, we're all in this weird mix of schedules getting changed. I know we were supposed to play West Warwick, and that game got moved. So we're playing Highlander Wednesday, and then North Smithfield on Thursday.
Wow. You got the back-to-back. You got the NBA schedule right there.
It's interesting. I guess I'm not a big fan, obviously, of the back-to-back. It's tough. But I don't think we're the only one. I mean, EWG was back-to-back. All this was like you almost have no choice on the shortened timeline. And my fear is now it looks like there's snow coming in. So what does that impact the season like? Does that impact our time to start? If it impacts our practice, which is obviously an issue, but again, we just move to virtual and try to plan for both games.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
it is crazy.
Wow,
it's a lot.
And then it's funny because I think we had talked about this in one of the roundtables. It's funny that snow is on the back burner compared to COVID. Like you just don't think about snow. You're thinking about how we're going to avoid and keep the season going. Yeah. But go ahead.
I'm sorry, but it definitely could impact everybody.
Yeah.
So especially those playing Monday or Tuesday, if we're already playing 6 or 7 games in 10 days, you add a game to that. It's a lot. It's a lot. But we'll do it. It's like college.
I was gonna say it's like a tough, grueling season for you guys, but at least you're getting through it, and hopefully you continue to get through it and grow upon that, and you guys will have a great season.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw the PC score today.
Oh yeah, they lost to Georgetown. So
did they? It was by 1. Was it 73-72?
73-72. Yeah.
Terrible loss. Yeah, we got URI playing now, so we got to keep this short.
Yeah.
URI keeps moving up in the Ken Palm. Here we go. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Yeah, we gotta. Hopefully they do well. I mean, but Coach, this is always a pleasure to have you on. Always a lot of fun. Sad I missed the purple and pink suit that you were wearing. It
was lavender and shrimp. How's that? Lavender
and shrimp. Those are colors I don't think would ever go well together, but I think
I made it work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a man like you can pull that off any day of your
It was a disaster. My poor wife just shakes her head as I walk out. She's like, "You're wearing that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's senior night."
Yeah. You know what I need? I need an autographed picture of it. I need to hang it up on the wall.
Just honestly, just Google Barney, this TV show. You'll be fine. Just throw a Prout logo on Barney, and you got me.
That's a combination of Dunkzilla and Coach.
Exactly. But thanks, honestly, thank you. And I know we were talking earlier, but especially for a younger audience as well. And I know all us coaches are all over what you have going on in Ramon at Ball in Our Eye, and it really is. Now it's almost our go-to, so we can get immediate stats and updates on where other teams lie, especially in the shortened season. I think not only would what you're doing and what he's doing help kind of paint the picture where the leagues are for playoffs and divisions are for playoffs, but the younger audience is eating it up because it's right there in front of them. They can take a look, they can see their stats, what they like, but they can also see who won, who lost, and I'm not even getting into rankings. I'll let you guys deal with that controversial stuff, but my DMs are not going to blow up because you guys are nuts. Have fun with that. I'll stick to my objective view on Prout basketball.
Yeah. No, it's a smart move. The rankings is gonna be a little testy, I think, after they show up pretty soon. So,
Yeah.
but I appreciate the kind. Yeah, kind of. I'm gonna have to change my Instagram and Twitter handle. It's gonna be Rhody Runback with a Z or something like this. But I thank you for the kind words. Yeah, we're doing our best, and I'm lucky that I'm able to collaborate with Ball and RI and Ramon on this. He's just an awesome dude. He's been doing great things for basketball, and I'm lucky just jump into the mix with him.
Cool. Thanks again, Jeff. I appreciate it. If you want to talk next weekend, let me know. I'm in.
Yeah, of course. I got you. All right. Talk to you, Coach.
All right. See ya.
All right. I welcome on now Coach DiPaola. He talked about his win last night against Mount St. Charles in an overtime throw. Coach, how are you doing, first of all?
Good, doing well.
Yeah, good. How was last night's game? Tell me about what it was like to go into overtime. What was that matchup against Mount St. Charles like?
Yeah, it was a great game. We've always had really good back and forth games against Mount over the last 5-6 years. Henry does a great job with them. So having a top 5 team come into our gym, we weren't honestly expecting much. We're just trying to compete every night, and we ended up coming away with the win. Our freshmen played great. Our junior leadership was awesome. Cam Reynolds kind of ran the show, got a lot of looks, probably had like 9 assists on the night. Overall, it was just a back and forth game. It was pretty crazy. We were up 6 with 2 minutes to go, and just shows how Mount St. Charles, how good they are. They cut it to, ended up being a tie game with 1:50. So in a matter of 10 seconds, they scored 6 points. It was wild. So they're going to be right at the top. They're going to be right in the mix. So it was definitely a great win for us. And with such a young team and being so inexperienced, it was a lot of fun.
Now, what's it like? You mentioned you had some freshmen step up. What's it like to have a couple freshmen, scoring double digits for you guys, help step up to get that win? What's that mean to you on that basis?
Yeah, I've had 2 freshmen play for me in the past. Both ended up being 1,000-point scorers, were Ethan Savoy and Steve Goulet. And it's tough because they're obviously going to take their bumps in the road. Our freshman Aiden, who ended up hitting 2 big threes, who basically won us the game. He turned the ball over when Mount made that 6-point run, and he runs over to me. He's like, "Oh, so sorry, coach," but it's those freshman mistakes that are going to happen, but it's just a learning curve. Like, you kind of just have to let certain things go and, understand that they're going to make mistakes, but it's going to only better them in the future. And, they're doing a great job. Honestly, they're surpassing everything I expected. So I really am really proud of them.
That's awesome. And good on them. I mean, such a short season for them to, come up big, as freshmen, to really step up to the plate in this short season. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, big time.
And then, what was the turning point in overtime for you guys to actually pull away from Mount St. Charles to get the W?
Yeah, we just, honestly, it was defense for us. It was a really low scoring game. I thought we did a really good job on the defensive end. Mount killed us on the boards. Big Gary is a force down there, and they did a great job crashing the boards. They had a lot of open looks, and it just didn't fall for them. They're an offensive team that they could fill it up quickly. Like, obviously scoring 6 in 10 seconds is very impressive. But it wasn't their night. They were missing some shots, and we were able to capitalize on the other end. We got out on the break a little bit and got some open looks. So Aiden, our freshman, ended up hitting a big 3 in overtime that kind of separated it, and that was kind of it. We hit another kind of put back on a scramble play that one of our other freshmen, Carter, he actually got a little runner in the lane. So just kind of ugly scrap buckets. That's kind of what we are. We're going to play fast, play in transition, but also kind of slow it up. We kind of like to, run our sets, try to get paint touches and kickouts. And I thought the kids did a really great job of just making shots when it mattered.
That's awesome. That's great. It sounds like a great victory. And, you beat a very good Mount St. Charles team. So it's like a tough Mount St. Charles team that could really fill it up. You're able to hold them to, 45 points or so. And what are you looking forward to next on your next game? And when's that?
Yeah, so we have Prout next, which is obviously going to be a really tough one. And a lot of credit to Henry. He does a great job with Mount. So obviously, I know they're going to be in the mix just by the end of the year. Once they get it going, it's just such a short season. It's crazy. It's like I said on the last podcast. It's like the NCAA tournament. Like you never know what's going to happen. Like any night, it could just it just could be the ball doesn't bounce your way. So going into our next game with Prout, we're just kind of hoping to kind of build off this, some positive momentum. Honestly, we weren't really expecting much this year. It's kind of a rebuilding year for us. So we're just trying to teach the kids to compete and, keep pushing through. We know that we're going to have some bumps in the road being so young and inexperienced, but, I'm really proud of the guys. It was a fun game. Either way, win or lose, it was just a blast. Like, going into overtime, Henry actually drew up a nice play in regulation at the end of there was 3 seconds left, and he ended up getting a wide open look. And it just didn't go down. It almost went, so that would have ended the game.
Yeah.
So it was just a crazy game. It was a lot of fun though.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Now, did you book your hotel down in Prout for you guys?
Yeah. I already got my hotel and flights are ready. So it's so wild. We were talking about this. We play them twice. Like, we're the only team in D3 that we have a back-to-back game with. Like, it's like Prout, then one game, then Prout again. It's like we're opposite sides of the state. It doesn't make sense.
Oh my God, that's awesome. That's crazy. Actually, Dean's coming on pretty soon, so I'll have to let him know, ask him about that. The back.
Oh yeah. He's gonna book his hotel down here too in the north.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Coach, this has been awesome. Good luck with the rest of the season, and good luck against Prout. I'm sure I'll be looking forward to that matchup as well too. If I could get you and Coach Felicetti mic'd up for those games online, I would love to hear the commentary. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it will be a blast.
Yeah. Hopefully Coach Felicetti wears that suit that he wore last night.
The suede suit.
Yeah, the suede suit. I think he might have been wearing Converses. It looked like Converses. I'm gonna have to ask him.
He's nuts.
At the same time that suede suit. But thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate your time, and good luck to you guys, and congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
We got to get into your power rankings. This is the big stuff. This is what I'm looking forward to, and I know everyone in the state is looking forward to. I'm sure your DMs are going to blow up big time. So I'm not you in this position.
Yeah. So like we said, there's a lot of upsets, a lot of teams that won that we didn't think we were going to win. There's a lot of teams that all of a sudden are 3-0 that we didn't think we were going to be 3-0. So there's a lot of shakeup in the rankings. And obviously, the preseason rankings are always kind of just like an estimate, right? Like a projection, and don't always work out. So there's always a lot of change after week one, but then after that, it's kind of steady. So I think this will be a good opportunity for people to see kind of how I come up with these rankings, because there's always a lot of questions. Every time I drop a power rankings, it's not like I could press the reset button and start all over. So it's based on the last week's rankings, right? So if a team is ranked number 1 and they have 1 loss, just because another team is undefeated doesn't mean that team is going to drop all the way from number 1 to out of the rankings. So you got to keep that in mind. It's relative to previous week. So we can start doing that now.
Yeah, let's check it out. I'm very interested to see this. I'm very excited to see this.
All right.
This is like AP, like the top 25 when they come out. So, all right, here we go.
Here we go. All right, so we'll start with Division 3. Last week, obviously, we're all projections, so we have a lot of new teams in Division 3. Out of the 5, I think, out of the 5 that were there last year, I think only 2 are left. So, First team for Division 3 is Prout and Scituate. So, yeah. But for Prout, obviously, they're 2-1. They had a real big win last night, and then Scituate just came off, like I said, out of the gates running. So they deserve to be in the top 5 for Division 3. And we have Davies. So Davies, we didn't get to talk about it. They didn't play yesterday, but Raheem Ramey has been balling. So the kid is averaging, I think like 25 a game. He's just unstoppable. Like every opposing coach says we got to stop him. So I'm sure they double team. I'm sure they sometimes play box and 1, but he still gets his numbers. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. Number 2 for Division 3 is ×2. So ×2 was there last week. They were ranked last week, and they are 2-0. So they have no reason to drop in the rankings. So keep them there. And then the top team in Division 3, West Warwick. So again, undefeated team. They were number 1. They haven't lost. I understand, Scituate and Davies are also teams are undefeated. They may think, oh, we can beat them. It's not about we can beat them. West Warwick's already there. They're still undefeated. They haven't done anything to lose their spot. What do you think about those, Jeff?
I think those are great. Honestly, I think ×2 might be. I actually think ×2 might be the scariest team in Division 3 because I think they have 3 to 4 potential high scores, and I think that could be a shakeup. But I like these rankings. I see some big changes. I saw Mount St. Charles was in there last week, and Blackstone Valley Prep was also in there last week. But Prout and Scituate, Scituate, like I said, I think they felt like they're flying under the radar, and they deserve to be in there. And then Davies, Raheem Rainey, like you had mentioned, that kid is just playing out of his mind right now, and it's fun to watch, and I'm happy for them. So no disagreements here on this end. So do you have an outside looking in on these, or what's up?
Yeah, I would say probably the closest one, the biggest decision there was Prout or North Smithfield for number 5. I think obviously that win for North Smithfield last night was big. So I guess full disclosure, if Mount St. Charles would have won last night, they probably would have been that 15.
Yeah.
That 15. So Prout gets in there because of that. So I think North Smithfield is on the outside looking in. And I agree with you, like you mentioned, ×2. I mean, over the years, they've always had Jason Peters, but he usually doesn't have a lot of backup. Now they have a decent team, so they're going to be really good in Division 3.
Yeah, Kobe Pena and Josh, I forgot his last name. They're playing well. Those two, I think Kobe's averaging. He's got to be averaging 25, and then Jason's always going to get his numbers, and then Josh is already up there. I think he's averaging close to 17 or 18 points a game.
Definitely. And then for Division 2, so a lot of shakeup here, right? So there's some teams that maybe could have been on here but didn't make it. There's only 5 teams, right? So
yeah.
Number 5. We'll start at number 1, I guess.
All right.
Number 1 is East Greenwich. They were there last week. I think they were number 3 last week, and we had Portsmouth number 1 last week and Pilgrim number 2, and they played both of those teams, and they actually beat both of those teams. So East Greenwich shoots up. Jack McMullen's playing well. Will Foster, all those guys, they're playing amazing. They're fun to watch. They're really fun to watch. Number 2, Juanita Santos, big jump. So they weren't even ranked last week, but they've just been playing so well and winning by so much. And Bernard is a legitimate scorer. Bernard's a legitimate player. He could go against anybody in the state. So whether it's Division 2, Division 1, Division 3, he's gonna be good. And him and Andrew Montan, they're gonna be good for Juanita. So I put Juanita in number 2. Had to drop Pilgrim. Pilgrim had that one loss against East Greenwich, who's down to number 1 in Division 2. So not that much of an impact for that loss because they lost against the top team is understandable. But Pilgrim did have to drop 1 spot. Could have dropped more because there are a lot of other good teams. And they will continue dropping if they keep losing. But I think that loss kind of woke them up and they're back to kind of what they're supposed to be doing. This is where it gets tricky because there's a couple undefeated teams that are left. There's only 2 spots. Number 4, Tollgate. So we talked about Tollgate. They starting off very, very hot. And they'll play Pilgrim next week. So we'll figure it out, right? So one of the 2 teams will stay on there. So we'll figure it out right away. And then Burrowville, number 5. So again, from the outside looking in, Tolman was a very good. I actually had Tolman in there that will put them out, put Burrowville in, then switch it. And I think it came down to, Burrowville has that 1 extra win, and Tolman hasn't played that extra game. They're actually playing right now. So, they win today. So, this is on Saturday. That win doesn't count till next week's ranking. So, the fact that Burrowville's 3-0 and Tolman's 2-0, that's what kind of put Burrowville over the top.
Yeah, I think this is good. I think Juanita Sanchez is definitely the surprising one to move up there, like you had said. But they're winning games pretty handily. East Greenwich I think they might be the toughest team. I think those Will Foster's really stepped up for them. Jack's Jack. Jack's gonna get his, and then I think Pilgrim might have woken up. But that Pilgrim Tollgate game, man, that one circled on my calendar because I've had both of those 2 guys, both teams on my show. And that's all they I know Tollgate talked about a bunch and Pilgrim did too. So it's gonna be exciting to kind of see those guys go at it. And then Burrowville, they're playing well. They're playing good ball. So I no disagreements. Outside looking in, do you have any?
So like I said, Tolman, Cranston West, obviously that loss yesterday helped hurt Cranston West. But those were the 2 on the outside looking in. And like I said, I think Juanita now being number 2, they might have been flying under the radar. Now targets on their back. So you got to keep winning to keep these spots. Because if not, you're going to start dropping. So that's Division 2.
All right.
Then Division One, everybody's waiting for. I know a lot of the kids are like,
this is the big one.
Yeah, people try to kind of guess what it's going to be. So again, these are relative rankings, right? So if somebody loses, doesn't mean we're just removing them from the rankings. You know, they're going to drop. If somebody wins, they're going to go up. It doesn't mean they go all the way to the top. We'll figure it out. So Division One, number 5, we got North Kingston. So they had the one loss against Hendricken, but it wasn't like they got, they beat by a lot, and they played well, and they've been winning since then. So I think they keep their 5th spot there. They're going to continue to be good throughout the year. Number 4, Hendricken drops from number 1 to number 4. Wow. One loss drops you 3 spots is tough.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like, wow, we had one loss by 3 points. How can we drop 3 spots? But there's teams ahead of you that haven't lost, So, and they're already in the mix. So it's tough not to drop you so many spots when you're at the top of Division One. Hendricken, will probably work their way back up again, but you lost last night, so that's what happens, right? So 3 spots is tough though.
3 spots is a big drop. That's
number 3, Mount Pleasant. So again, if I decided not to drop Hendricken 3 spots, then Mount Pleasant would have had to drop to number 4, and they haven't lost. So why would they drop, right? So it's like all these things are relative. So, but Mount Pleasant has done what they needed to do. They keep the 3 spot. So now the top 2 spots, LaSalle and Classical, one or the other, right? So we have to figure that out, right? So I was trying to figure that out. Obviously, Classical feels they beat the number 1 team in the state. They should go all the way to number 1, but they were number 4 before. LaSalle was already number 2. So they can either stay number 2 or go up to number 1. But I must say, in the couple games LaSalle has played, they've won convincingly. Like, it hasn't even been close. They're so good. So we have Classical at number 2 and LaSalle at number 1. So I know there's going to be a lot of talk about these.
There's going to be a lot of talk about this.
Classical could have easily been number 1 because they did have a huge win by beating Hendricken. I think it was a good game. They didn't beat Hendricken convincingly. I mean, if they had beaten Hendricken by 20, then it's like, whoa, like, all right, maybe we have to push them all the way up. And LaSalle has done nothing but, win and then win by a lot. Obviously, LaSalle hasn't faced one of the other big powerhouses, but they're ready to play. LaSalle's going to be good. LaSalle has one of the best backcourts in the state with Dimitri and Raph. Like,
yeah,
I just don't see. I can't wait to see LaSalle play Classical. I can't wait to see LaSalle play Hendricken. I can't wait to see these top 5 play each other. So that's kind of Division One for you. What do you think there?
Oh man, I have to disagree. I think Classical would have been my number 1 because they showed out. I mean, they played Hendricken well, and Hendricken was number 1. That's my only disagreement with that. But you make a good point that LaSalle's been winning by a lot. But yeah, I would have to say that I would have Classical at number 1 for sure. But I can't wait for them to play each other now.
No. I think though, so Classical I think plays North Kingston this week, so that's going to be another big test for them, right? So if they beat North Kingston, they stay number 2, and LaSalle. Hopefully, it's nice when number 1 and number 2 can play each other, but it might not happen by the time they play each other. I don't know when LaSalle and Classical play, but those are games I really want to see. I'm sure LaSalle and Hendrick can play each other. I want to see that as well because I want to see LaSalle to get tested, and I want to see how good they really are because I know Dimitri and Raph are really good. They have Jakai who's really good. They have a couple of shooters there, but when you're playing against really tough competition, can you still play at the same level that you're used to playing when you're playing, competition that maybe is not as tough?
Yeah, and that Division One's a gauntlet. I mean, look at those teams. Those teams are all great teams. I mean, I don't know how those teams are tired, especially with this schedule this year. I don't know how you're not tired playing, going in and out against those guys. But it's gonna be fun to watch. See these top 5 teams all go at it. We already got a preview of Hendricken and Classical, and then North Kingston and Hendricken. So it'd be good coming up the next couple weeks.
Yep. And then for the state, I think it kind of all shakes out based on how the divisional rankings go. So we'll have LaSalle, who gets number 1, Classical is number 2. They move up 2 spots, right? Mount Pleasant stays at number 3, Hendrick at number 4. But then for number 5, you usually have, for 4 or 5, I usually think, the Division 2 team is that good to overtake a Division 1 team. So I put East Greenwich there because I think, doesn't mean that East Greenwich could beat North Kingston head-to-head, but they can play with them, and they're undefeated. North Kingston's not, right?
Yeah.
So North Kingston gets number 6. Juanita, previously not ranked, now it's number 7. Pilgrim, Toge. So then we'll get an 8-9 matchup coming up, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
And then Barrington comes in at number 10.
Ooh.
So although they weren't ranked because there's only 5 spots in Division I, Barrington is that good that I think they deserve a spot in the state ranking.
Oh, that's a good ranking. I wish we need to put these we need to get these numbers next to like the scoreboards on NFHS network.
I know, right?
Yeah, we need that stuff. It'd be awesome to see that on there. I think the state rankings are great. Like you said, I think East Grange could play with some D1 teams right now, especially with that senior squad that they have. They have 6 seniors, and Juanita is just, it's a tough team to beat. I'm excited to see their more games and see what they're able to do. And, let's see what Pilgrim and Tollgate brings to us. And Barrington's definitely been the surprise team as well, too, I think, in my eyes.
Yeah. And honestly, I know there's a short season, so a lot of teams might not have that much time to put it together. But teams like Portsmouth, they're going to, they've had a couple of tough losses against good teams. They're going to be there. So they're going to start winning games against teams they should be beating. They're that good. East Providence, I think, is going to be better than they've been playing. They've had some tough losses, but I think they'll turn around. The thing is, it's a short season, so I don't know if you're going to have enough time to turn it around, in time before the end of the year. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah. And I think a lot of the advantage, and I think we're kind of seeing too, is a lot of the advantage of those teams over like the guys that played with each other last year. Upper class is kind of, they seem to be clicking, and that's the teams that are doing well. Like, I feel like East Providence, they add Trey as a new point guard, and maybe now have a feel for a couple of the upperclassmen he's playing with now, and eventually they'll start clicking as well. So it just takes some time. Unfortunately, it just sucks that they don't have that. They didn't have that, beginning from right after Thanksgiving to like a 4-week season to a 5-week season.
Yeah, and it's the same impact in college basketball. You look at it, like a lot of those teams with like a lot of the one and dones and a lot of the freshmen that are usually the best teams in the nation are not that good this year because they didn't have enough time to kind of put it together, not enough practice time. So it's the same thing. But definitely glad we're getting to play basketball. Whether it's a short season, whether people have to wear masks. That's another thing. Kids, please wear your mask all the way above your nose. Please, it's gonna end up becoming an issue. And I put that more on the referees. The referees need to take more charge and make it known across the state that, if you're not wearing your mask above your nose, they're going to take you out the game and you can't come back into the next whistle. Once that happens to a kid a couple of times, they're going to be like, all right, I'm going to make sure I wear my mask the right way. So I put that on the referees. Please start enforcing it, getting kids out the game so they have to come back in, get frustrated, so then they start wearing their masks because we want to keep playing. And if for whatever reason, just because, people are not wearing their mask the right way, we have to cancel the season, that would suck because we're having so much fun with it so far.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that's like the message that needs to get across. And I think that's, I feel like a lot of kids feel the same way. It's just wear your mask, wear it the right way. Don't want to cause anyone, no one wants to be the reason why a season stops. So wear your mask properly because it's, this thing's not a joke. Getting it's not a joke, and being stopping the season, we're enjoying it. Everyone's enjoying watching it. I feel like this is my March Madness. Right?
Yeah.
It's awesome to watch all these kids play, all these teams, see the updates. Like, I'm on my phone constantly. My hours are going up on my phone of how much I'm on my phone because I'm checking it so much. So, just like Ramon said, just keep that message across. Yeah. Wear your mask correctly.
Yeah, and we'll all do our part because obviously it's tough for the parents and the families and the fans not being able to be at the game. So I think everybody's doing their parts. Other schools are finding a way to stream their games. Mount Pleasant, please find a way to stream it. And then I'm giving constant updates. You're having all the kids on the podcast so that you can kind of see that interaction. Projo putting up their scores and things like that. Like, just finding a way to make sure that everybody's aware. Making the best out of it. Normally we would be going to these games, but now we get to watch. I get to watch now, 5-6 games a night as opposed to before I would maybe get to one. Sometimes I couldn't even get to one. I would just hear about it. So, I get to watch everybody now. So that's now nobody can say I'm sleeping because now I actually get to watch everyone. So
they're still going to say you're going to be sleeping. You can't.
Oh yeah. When these rankings come out, so you'll see that controversy between LaSalle and Classical. It's going to be a controversy. So
I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to see it and what people have to say about it. This has been awesome, man. I'm so lucky to get you, to be a part of this, and I hope we can continue to do this because your insights are just amazing. I feel like you're like the Dickie V of high school basketball. You can break it down like nobody's business for each game. And this has been great. I'm glad that we're able to collab. and make this happen, because what you're doing, I think, is just absolutely amazing. What you have done has been absolutely amazing for the state of Rhode basketball itself, along with the guys that are working with you. So I can't thank you enough. Like, obviously, thank you enough for just being on the show.
I appreciate it, man. And likewise, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're putting out a lot of content very often and very, relevant and important content. So, I definitely tune in every so often. Maybe I don't watch every single one, but as soon as I see a special guest that I'm like, oh, let me go check that out, I definitely check those out. And it's good to have those.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great. So I thank you. I appreciate the kind words, but yeah, that's all I got. This has been a great, recap show. Like I said, your insights are unbelievable, and everything that you have put in, and the rankings are definitely. I'm so excited to see the rankings of this to come out tomorrow. So I'm very, very excited to see everyone's reaction to these.
That's good. All right, man.
All right. Thank you very much.